So this is really the STAR test from last year. Here's the formula chart. We're going to set that aside because we're going to need it. Here's your conversion chart. You can tear that out, set it aside. You get graph paper. You can tear that out and set it aside. All right, our goal today is to get through the first 18 questions. Here we go. Number 1. A recipe says to use 3 cups of flour to make 48 cookies. What is the constant of proportionality that relates the number of cookies made, Y, to the number of cups of flour used, X? So when it says constant of proportionality, I can look at my formula chart and see where it says constant of proportionality, and it says K equals Y over X. So I'm going to write K equals Y over X. And it tells me the number of cookies made is Y. So Y is going to be number of cookies, and the number of cups of flour is X. So this is number of cups flour. So all I need to do is divide. So I've got the number of cookies is 48, and the number of cups of flour is 3. So I do 48 divided by 3. Once I divide, I know that the answer is 16, D. An observatory is shaped like a cylinder standing on one of its bases with a dome on top. The diameter of the floor of the observatory is 64 feet, as shown in the diagram. Which measurement is closest to the circumference of the base of the observatory? So I'm going to stop and I'm going to look at my formula chart. Circumference. They told me diameter, so I'm going to use C equals pi times D. Since they told me that the diameter, so I'm going to use C equals pi times D. So this is the diameter, 64. We know that pi is 3.14. So I multiplied those two numbers together. All right, so this one is probability, because it says what is the probability. So we're dealing with a fraction. I need to compare what I want to the total. And I want to know front row. So the front row is 8. That's what I want. And the total is 8, 10, and 12. 8 plus 10 plus 12. 22, 30. So this is 8 out of 30. And then you have to reduce. This one's all about finding a pattern. It's saying that KL and WX and then WZ and KN, did those follow a pattern? Yes or no? And then G, angle NKL, so this one is congruent, which means equal, to angle ZWX. Is that one true? KL and YZ is equal to LM ZW. Is that a pattern? And then angle NKL, we already marked, is congruent, which means equal to angle XYZ. So is this angle equal to that angle? Which one of these is true? Another way to look at this, if you write it alphabetically, HIJKLMN. So this is KLMN and WXYZ. So WXYZ. That shows you your patterns. Look back at F. KL and then WX. So it goes from here to there. And then this one says that WZ to KN, so it goes from here to there. We can't change the pattern. If you do this over that, you have to do the other one over that. So these would have to be flip-flopped. So this cannot be the answer. Cheddar cheese costs $4.25 per pound. Which equation best represents Y, the total cost of X pounds of cheddar cheese? So if this is cheddar cheese, needs to be tied to $4.25. Y is the total. So this means multiply. Per means multiply. So you need to find the equation that multiplies 4.25 times pounds of cheddar cheese. So the first thing I'm noticing is that this says that this is 50. So this whole thing represents 50 people. And I want to know how many more, that means subtract, of Ursula's classmates chose chocolate than vanilla. So chocolate versus vanilla. Oh no, look, vanilla's missing a number. So we have to figure out what's missing for vanilla. To find the missing piece, you need to do 42 plus 14 plus 18 74, and this has to equal 100. So 100 minus 74 . So vanilla is 26%. Now there's two ways to go about it. You can either do chocolate minus vanilla first and find the difference in the percent, or figure out how many people this is and how many people this is, and then subtract. I like to subtract first. I think it's easier. So 42 minus 26. So there's a 16% difference, and this is 50 people. So you have to figure out what X is. All right, I need to solve this, so I'm going to rewrite it. Draw your line down. Find your variable. Don't do that. Look at this. What's the opposite? So this is 12. This is negative 4x. And then I look at the number in front of the variable, the coefficient, and I divide, because the opposite of multiply is to divide. So I get x and negative 3. But since I divided by a negative on both sides, I have to flip my inequality over. All right, Jack tossed a coin 3 times. We've talked about this question so many times. We're looking at tree diagrams that show possible outcomes. This is F. We have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Here, this is G. Here's H, and here's J. When you flip a coin, your first coin can land on heads or tails. This is just a repeat, so it's not that one. All right, we've got ratio, which is a fraction. Boys to girls. So this is boys to girls. It's 2, 2, 3. This is boys and girls. There are 18 girls. So girls we put on the bottom. And I want to know what is the total number of students in Miss Cunningham's class. Total. So first you have to find boys. Then that's not the answer. You have to add these two numbers to find the total number of people. It's a triangular prism. So I need to go find triangle on my formula sheet. Triangle, A equals 1/2 BH. Prism, V equals capital BH. Now I have to find area of the triangle. Find your right angle. This is base. This is height. So base, 12. Height is 8. So you solve over here. This becomes capital B. And then the other number you use, how far apart are your triangles? This becomes your H over here. This is H here. So whatever you get over here, half of 12 is 6, times 8 is 48. And then multiply these two to get your volume. For this question, you're trying to figure out which coordinates match which table, So you've got x is 1 and y is 32. So when x is 1, y needs to be 32. When x is 1, y needs to be 32. And yeah, so it's got to be B or D. With this one, you have two angles that equal 90. So 5x plus 10 plus 55 has to equal 90. And it wants to know how much is x. So you have to solve this. First, we want to join our like terms, 65 and 90. And this is plus 5x. All right, now, don't look at the variable. What's the opposite of a plus 65? We're going to minus 65. And then 5x. And what's the opposite of multiplying by 5? So we're going to divide both sides by 5. x equals Alright, we are looking for is supported, so true. The least number of miles Ian skated on a day in July, so the least number he skated is 1, is greater than the least number of miles Ian skated on a day in August, which is 5. So is 1 greater than 5? The median number of miles Ian skated each day in July is greater than the median number of miles Ian skated each day in August. What is median? The median number of miles he skated in July, if we go 1, 2, there's 2, take off 2, 1, take off 1. So the median here is 5, 6, 7, 8. And the median here is 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 10. Is 8 greater than 10? The mode. What is mode? Ian skated in July, so that's 8. So the mode is 8. Is less than the mode if he skated in August. So August's mode is 10, 11, 12. Is 8 less than 12? The range, what is range? The range of the number of miles Ian skated each day in July, so 15 minus 1 is 14, is less than the range of the number of miles Ian skated each day in August, which is 10, 11, 12, 13 minus 5, 8. Is 14 less than 8? This question tells me that I have 2 rectangles and a triangle, and I'm looking for area. So I go to my formula chart and I need to write down triangle and rectangle. So triangle area is 1/2 BH, and I'm going to go ahead and color in my triangle. Rectangle is A equals BH, and that's here and here. I need to find the area of each piece and add them together. So the area of this rectangle is 1.5 times 2.5, which is 3.75. And over here, 1.5 times 2.5 is 3.75. So this is 3.75, and this is 3.75. And then we've got my triangle. The base of my triangle is 1.5, and the height of my triangle is 1.5, and I need to half it. This is 1.125. 1.125. I have to add these 3 numbers together. So 3.75, 3.75, 1.125. And you get, first thing I notice, it tells me that this equals 50 right here. 50, so I know that all of this is 50. The manager asked about the type of movie each person preferred. Based on the results in the table, which statement about a person who will go to this theater Friday is true. So we're looking for truth. The person is 3 times as likely to prefer comedy as horror. So is comedy 3 times horror? Well, what's 12 times 3? The person is twice as likely to prefer drama as horror. Is drama twice as much as horror? The person is less likely to prefer horror or drama. So horror and drama is 18, then action, which is 17. The person is more likely to prefer horror or comedy, so that's 27, then action or drama, which is 23. This is a similar figure, so we're dealing with a proportion. I have h and 60, so h over 60. So if I put h over 60, which one goes on top? 210 or 84? 210, 84. Then I cross multiply and divide. When you cross multiply, what do you get? 12,600. Then we divide by 84. And what did you get? And that's the answer. All right, so we've got 120 caramel apples. We know a fifth of them are covered with peanuts. How do you find a fifth of something? So we divide by 5. So 120 divided by 5 is 24. A third. How do you find a third of something? We can divide by 3. So 120 divided by 3 is 40. 3/10 are covered with coconut. How do you find a tenth of something? Divide by 10. So 120 divided by 10 would be 12, but there's 3 of these, so we need 3, which is 36. And the rest are covered with sprinkles. Well, the question wants to know sprinkles. So I've got 24, 40, and 36. That adds up to 100. The rest are covered with sprinkles. So we started with 120. We know 100. What's the rest? Certain means 100%. To select rock or pop. Here's rock, here's pop. Is that all of the people? Also, valid means true. They are less likely to select country or rap. So here's country or rap. That adds up to 39. Then rock music, which is 37. They are more likely to select country music, which is 27. Then jazz, classical, or rap. So jazz plus classical plus rap is 26. They are certain, which is 100%, to select any type of music other than jazz. Is that one true? Which one is true?